And we are live with another episode of Drafting Lessons, the DLF TV show where I grab a guest every single week and we run through a Dynasty mock draft. Lately, we've been doing some rookie mock drafts. I know the first one we did last week was with Jesse Reeves. So today I thought I'd bring on another fantastic guest for rookie conversations, and that is DLF's own Ray Garvin. How's it going, Ray?
Man, it's going, man. Excited to be here. The show with Jesse was dope last week, and we've gotten a chance to work together quite a bit, Addison. So ready for this, man. Let's get it.
Let's do it. Some great rookie conversation. And I think it's going to be really helpful to see, exactly who the players that you would pick, in these different situations would be. And I know that there's a lot of decisions that need to be made for a lot of different people, and especially in some of these areas. I know last week with Jesse, when we were at the 107, he had a decision to make between Justin Jefferson, Jalen Reagor, or another running back. So I think in this first mock draft that we're going to do, we're going to be out of the 105 spot. So I'm thinking that you're going to have some decisions here because, at the 105, the top names are gone, probably like Taylor and CeeDee Lamb, and probably DeAndre Swift as well too. But, when you get into that kind of middle tier of the first, it's going to be really interesting to see what players are going to be available and who you're actually going to be picking. So
who did Jesse take? Tyler Johnson? I know you said Reagor or Jefferson, but I know he's a big Tyler Johnson guy, so I'll give Jesse some crap right there. I know you took Tyler Johnson.
He actually took Tyler Johnson in the third, which was interesting.
That's appropriate. That's all right. I ain't gonna knock him for that
one. So let's get going here. We're gonna be doing our first mock draft here out of the 105, and I'm gonna hit the start your draft button and get loaded in here, and we're gonna get right to it.
All right.
All right, Ray. So pretty interesting first four picks that went off the board here. So Jerry Jeudy actually went at the 101, followed by Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift, and J.K. Dobbins. So CeeDee Lamb is actually still on the board, as is Cam Akers, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jalen Reagor, Justin Jefferson, also there as well too. So who are we looking at here at the 105?
Man, Jerry Jeudy at 101. Wild. I would not do that. But that pushed value down the board quite a bit because CeeDee Lamb is my wide receiver 1 and Cam Akers is my running back 3. So I think out of the 5 spot with Taylor gone, with Swift gone, the decision is between Lamb and Akers for me. And in Dynasty rookie drafts, I like to build my team through the running back position. So it pains me because I am a big CeeDee Lamb fan. I love CeeDee, but I would probably go with Cam Akers right here at 105.
Really?
I sure would. I would go Akers at 1. In the depth of the class, I know I'm going to get a good receiver in the second. I know it. I know this.
I thought that was a smash pick for CeeDee Lamb right there, to the point where I actually thought that you were going to take CeeDee Lamb, and I was going to ask you, if Lamb had been taken and it was between Jeudy and Cam Akers, who would you have gone with there? But you answered that question there by just taking Cam Akers over CeeDee Lamb anyway. So
Yep. And that's just my personal philosophy, right? Like my personal strategy in Dynasty rookie drafts is to grab the running back. And I think Cam Akers is going to have rock solid draft capital. And that position accrues value so much faster than wide receivers traditionally. Like not all wide receivers come out of the gate doing what Odell Beckham did as I'm so used to college. I was going to say true freshman as a rookie. Not all these wide receivers do that. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time, but for the running back position, man, they could come in, 2 games in. Cam Akers goes out there and runs for 100 yards back-to-back games. Then all of a sudden you can trade for the world for him. You know what I mean? People want that piece of a young running back. So that was my decision there, thinking that one of these guys like Denzel Mims or Michael Pittman would fall to me at 205, which did not happen. Didn't happen. So, yeah, here we are at 205. And you scroll down a little bit. Who else is on the board? I don't care about what this says. I need to see who's there. All right. Yeah, no AGG. No Ayuk. Oh boy. So for me at this point, listen, prior to the combine, my wide receiver 5 in the class was Brian Edwards. Insane breakout age, very good production with Deebo Samuel there. Gives you that dynamism because he is a punt returner. You can give him some jet sweeps out of the backfield. So I would probably take Brian Edwards here at 205. I know he's got the foot injury, but I'm not concerned. I pull the trigger on Edwards.
All right. Edwards isn't really a guy that I know a whole lot about, and I think it's primarily because of the injury. So, like, we didn't get combine numbers, and I know he's been an analytical darling because of that breakout age and how dominant he was, in college and stuff. But he's also a guy that I haven't really seen a lot of, Twitter scouts out there like posting film of Brian Edwards. Maybe that's just me and the people that I follow. But he seems to be a guy who has flown very much under the radar over the past couple of weeks, and primarily, again, because no combine. And it's going to be really interesting to see come draft day where he actually goes and when. And I think that'll really, heavily decide, his ultimate range of where he's going to be taken in rookie drafts, because, right now at the middle of the second, I feel like that's fantastic value for him, especially when you see Michael Pittman, Denzel Mims, and Laviska ahead of him, all of whom could definitely be ahead of him. But, given the right landing spot and draft capital, I think Edward could climb over all three of those guys, by the end of the NFL draft.
And he's a pro receiver. You know what I mean? He's got the size. I think he was one of those guys where I think his stock, just like we saw Denzel Mims and Justin Jefferson really boost their stock at the combine, we were on the precipice of that happening for Brian Edwards prior to that foot injury. And there's nothing to not like about his tape. His tape is there. If you're a fan of analytics and the data, that's also there. Yes, I know he never had over 1,000 yards in a season. Yes, I know he stayed for his 4th year, but he produced alongside Deebo Samuel. He did have the market share numbers. So for me to get Brian Edwards in the second, I was more than and to be honest with you, I would have taken him before Laviska Shenault, who went 2 picks before Edwards. So that not even thought, man. I'm taking Edwards right there.
Yeah, super interesting draft. I'm really excited to see how these second and third rounds are going to shake out, because I feel like the first is pretty set in stone in terms of the players that are going, and more or less where they're going as well too. But this second round and now the third round, we got the quarterbacks start getting thrown into the conversation. Bryson Hopkins got taken here at the 204 as the first tight end off the board. Herbert is also down here at the 304. And then a lot of other, wide receivers and running backs like L.J. Scott, Darrington Evans, names of running backs who I didn't see last week with Jesse Reeves. So it's interesting to see all these different names now pop up here. And I think draft day is going to have, a big time effect on the ultimate outcome of where a lot of these guys are going to be landing. So we're now here at the 305, Ray. We're looking at, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Tyler Johnson, Anthony McFarland, a couple quarterbacks, Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts, Antonio Gibson, Hunter Bryant. We got some more tight ends down here, Komet, Albert O. What are we looking at here?
Where do you think I would go? Where do you think I would go? Because to me, this is a smash in the third round. I'm so excited. I'm more excited about this pick than I have been the previous two.
My guess for you would be Antonio Gibson.
Smash it, baby. Smash that draft button. Give me here's the thing. When you're in the third and fourth round, my personal philosophy, I'm not touching tight ends. So I don't care Albert O, Bryson Hopkins, Cole Kmet, any of those guys that went before skill position players like the running back and the wide receivers, even quarterback. I just don't see the need to do that in rookie drafts before the 405 and the 4th. And when you're looking at Antonio Gibson, man, it just what he did at Memphis on limited touches, 71 touches in his final season at Memphis, rushing and receiving, over 1,100 yards and 12 TDs. He's explosive. He's dynamic. He can catch the ball. He can run the ball. And there have been a lot of comparisons made to David Johnson. And although DJ is a little bit bigger as far as height, I mean, at 6 foot, 230 pounds, he's a running back. He's not a wide receiver. I know he tested and participated with the wide receiver group at the combine, but the dude is a running back, and I think he offers some of that DJ type upside at the next level. So the 305 to get Gibson, man, that's a smash for me. If I saw him sitting there, I'd be so excited, so ecstatic to get him right there.
So let me ask you this: at the 305 after the NFL draft, let's say Gibson falls into a backup role, a la Tony Pollard. Would you still be willing to take Antonio Gibson at the 305, or do you think his stock will fall a little bit?
Man, if people out there are trading like crazy to get Tony Pollard shares, and if you were a fan of Tony Pollard last year, then you should be jumping, doing backflips to draft Antonio Gibson, even if he's in a backup role, because all he is a bigger, more explosive version of Tony Pollard. I mean, he's bigger, he's faster than Tony Pollard, and I think immediately that would be a win. If Antonio Gibson rolls into the NFL and he's a backup, change of pace type running back, that's a win. That's a win. And at the running back position, man, here's the thing. The starter's going to get hurt more times than not, unless you're CMC. Even we saw the great Saquon Barkley go down in missed weeks. And what happened? Wayne Gallman was like super valuable at that point in time. So,
right.
When Zeke was holding out, Tony Pollard his value was through the roof as a rookie. So if AG can get in there and become that second back, get on the field, see those limited touches, hell yeah, I'm taking them at the 305. Like, I'm fine with that. These are upside picks right here that you're talking about anyway. And I'd take him over AJ Dillon. I'll tell you that right now, because he provides more dynamism than a player like AJ Dillon.
All righty. I just had to be sure, because I agree with you that I would also be looking at Antonio Gibson. You've made me look at him much differently. He was a guy that I'm very curious on where he ends up going in the draft, and when, obviously, of course, as well too. Draft capital is a huge thing, but you've been the guy that has pointed me to Gibson, and he's become one of my kind of late round rookie draft targets to try and see if I could target him and get him, because I do agree that his ceiling is so much higher than a lot of these players that you're going to be getting in the third, fourth round. So I'm all about it.
And according to DLF's ADP, I mean, he's going 26th overall. So I mean, I think we got him right around we got a couple of picks value with him. And I think with the draft capital, it's only going to shoot up a little bit higher. So I'm happy with that right there at the 305.
Right. All right. So we're here, 405, last pick of this 4-round mock draft. Again, some more tight ends and quarterbacks have gone in here. Tyler Johnson went at the end of the third, which I always think is interesting to see where he goes. And then also as well too, Quintez Cephas, James Williams, Jalen Hurts, and then Cole Kmet were the first 4 picks in the 4th round. So 405 here, we're looking at LaMichael Pirine, Adam Troutman, Lynn Bowden, Chase Claypool, Jake Fromm, Dan Jefferson, Thaddeus Moss, Colin Johnson, Harrison Bryant, a bunch of other of these guys that I don't really know anything about, but I'm sure you do. So what are we looking at here?
Yeah, so, and this is why I would fade tight end in single quarterback leagues, because I guarantee you after we make our pick, Scott Connor said Lynn Bowden. Hey, Scott, I feel you, man. I feel you, but this is where I'm going. You fade tight end. You can get one off the waiver wire when it's over. Scroll down a little bit more. I'm not seeing the name that I want. Scroll down. I'm not seeing the name that I want. Where's he at? Where's he at? Where's he at? And this is how much of a value. And here's the thing. Okay, scroll up. Where is he? Was he drafted? I want Darrington Evans. That's who I want. The running back out of Appalachian State. I want Darrington Evans. Did he go?
210.
Holy. Oh boy. Wow. You didn't I didn't see that. He went 210?
Yeah.
Oh boy, that is not good for a variety of reasons. That just Scott Connor said Daniel Jeremiah Buzz. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That hurts. That hurts. I love Darrington Evans. All right, scroll back up to the top. I think the pick, I think we might I think it's Lynn Bowden Jr. I think that's the pick. That'd be the pick that I take. I take the Swiss Army knife that provides that rushing and receiving capability. I really like Bowden. You know, Scott Connor is the one who put me on to him earlier in the season, but I really thought Darrington Evans was there. Crap. That
That kind of
hurt.
changes things up, huh?
That hurt. Oh man, if he's going into the second now, and then like, yeah, there has been buzz that he's getting day 2 draft capital, you know, round 3 into round 2. The kid is good. If you, Addison, I don't know if you've seen any of his tape, like just turn on the highlight.
Nope.
He moves at a different speed, man. Like he's really good. And I know he played at Appalachian State. I'm talking about the guy that I didn't get, but it's because of how much I'm really feeling his game. So I'm looking at his best comparables according to Mock Draftable. You got Felix Jones, Justice Hill, Julius Jones, Ramonce Taylor. So I mean, he's got some good comparisons there. 89th percentile 40-yard dash score, 80th percentile vertical jump, 88th percentile broad jump, and that shows on film like he's explosive as hell. So, but Lynn Bowden, we made the Lynn Bowden pick. I'm happy with it. The easy comparison is to say Randall Cobb because they both played at Kentucky. But I think Bowden is another one of those guys. If he were able to have competed at the combine, we would have seen his stock rise too because he is sort of that dual threat weapon on the offensive side of the field. So, yeah, man, that hurt. That hurt.
Well, so that wraps up the first 4-round draft right there. Out of the 105 spot, we got Cam Akers, Brian Edwards, Antonio Gibson, and Lynn Bowden Jr. And so we're going to be doing another mock draft here. Let me get into it here. All this stuff here. So we're going to go out of the 10 spot as a new set of rookies to talk about here. So we're just going to go right into it. How's that sound, Ray?
Sounds good, man.
Let's do it. And I like doing these quick little 4-round mock drafts too, because you can do them so quickly, and then you get a really good idea of, you know, some of the players that are going to be available at, you know, the picks that you guys might have listening in your rookie drafts and everything. And then as well as if you pair that with the rookie draft probability app that we have on DLF, you know, that's going to give you a very clear picture of some of the players available at your picks. If you want a player, you know, to trade up and you want to see where you do need to trade up, I highly recommend that rookie probability draft app on DLF, and it's 100% free right now. Just go to the DLF tools rookie draft app, and everything is there for you right there to see a lot of the probabilities based on DLF rookie ADP of where these players are going to fall. So, Ray, looking at this draft now, so we were at the 10 spot. So Jonathan Taylor, Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb, DeAndre Swift, Henry Ruggs at the 105. Holy crap. J.K. Dobbins, T. Higgins, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and then Cam Akers fell all the way to 109. So we're now here at 110. Jalen Reagor, Justin Jefferson, Denzel Mims, Laviska, the top 2 quarterbacks, Michael Pittman, Keyshawn Vaughn. I have a feeling you're going to have a similar kind of decision to make here as Jesse did last week. So I'm interested to hear what you got to say about this.
This is not okay. Just click the running back tabs. Let me just look at what running backs are there. Vaughn, Moss, Dylan, Benjamin, and then all right. So I'm gonna bank on the fact that I'm gonna be able to get my guy here at 110, and then get either another one of my top 5 wide receivers at the 210. I think.
Wow.
I think I'm going to make that gamble here, and I'm going to go with Jalen Reagor. He's my wide receiver 2 in this class. Provides that dynamism, punt return ability. Hey, for real though. And then it's not just bias. I mean, the data supports what he did as a true freshman, what he did as a sophomore, and even in a down junior season, he still had he commanded the highest market share percentage of receptions, yards, and touchdowns. And I'm not going to get my guy. That's all right, because I know what to do. This is easy. I'm not making the same mistake. He's not going to fall to me. He's not going to fall to me. So I've got to take him right here. And we did all that talking about Darrington Evans. Is he still on the board?
Right there.
I'm doing. God, this is. Oh man, we really have to draft him in the second, dude. I've been like banking on him falling to the third. I've been banking on him falling to the third. Uh, go back to the receivers. Who do we have? And I took Edwards at 2.5
2.5.
last time. Man, if I take Edwards here, would I be able to get Gibson 310? What will make for a better exercise? Me taking Evans here or gambling to see if I can get him in the third?
I think based on last drive, I don't think you're getting Evans in the third.
All right, let's smash him right here. Let's smash
you
Evans
want him?
here. Yeah,
Let's
I want
do it.
Darrington Evans.
So let me go back to your first round pick. So you took Jalen Reagor, and last week Jesse in the same situation took Justin Jefferson. What is your argument for Reagor over Jefferson there? Because I have Jesse's argument for Jefferson over Reagor.
It's probably a whole bunch of numbers and stuff, isn't it? It's a bunch of data.
It is.
It's production. Yeah, I know Jesse. I know Jesse well. And here's the thing. I've got Jefferson as my wide receiver 4, so I'm a big fan of his game too. On the last Dynasty Blueprint with McDowell and Williamson, I compared him to a Tyler Boyd type player. I think he's a rock solid wide receiver 2 that possesses big time wide receiver 1 upside. Maybe not as consistent as your top 12 wide receivers, but I think if we look 3 years from now and say that Justin Jefferson finished the season as a wide receiver 1, I wouldn't be shocked. All right. I think he's a phenomenal player. And as much fanfare and acclaim as we give Jamar Chase for the season that he just had at LSU, Justin Jefferson had over 110 receptions, 1,500 yards, and 18 TDs in his own right. And that's after coming off an 870-plus yard receiving season as a sophomore. And the kid has only gotten better and better. Goes to the combine, shows that he's explosive. But I see that plus a little bit more with Reagor. And here's things, all things equal. If both wide receivers struggle right out the gates, learning how to defeat press coverage, having to refine their route tree, the one thing that Jalen Reagor is going to be able to do from day one is contribute on special teams. And I like to use the example with Adam Thielen, with Tyreek Hill, and not comparing the players. But if you go back a couple of years ago to Tyreek Hill's ascension, it started off with Kansas City with him returning punts. He was like, some people thought he was a gadget player. And then as he got more acclimated with the NFL, he was a freaking running back coming out of college. Then he became the Tyreek Hill that he is today. So if all things are considered equal and they both struggle learning the position at the NFL at the next level, Jalen Reagor, you can throw him right back there right now as a kick returner and a punt returner, and he'll be able to contribute. So that sort of was the deciding factor. He's excellent at 50-50 balls. You can play inside, outside. And, he is a very dynamic player. So that was my logic between Reagor and Jefferson, but I could have gone either way.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic argument for him. And I love the idea of the special teams side of it, because that is how a lot of these players really make their mark at the beginning as rookies. If they're not getting the offense and they're not getting playing time, on their team's offense, but they are making a mark on special teams, that gives them more of a leash to be able to learn the offense over a longer period of time, which then eventually gets them into, more snaps and then more targets and then more production at the NFL level. So I do agree with you that Reagor definitely has that special teams ability to be able to come in day one, kick returner, punt returner, whatever you need him to do, on top of being, maybe your wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 2, depending on where he goes, and then build into that wide receiver 1 role. And even though Justin Jefferson, I think, fits that wide receiver 1 role out the gate more so than Reagor, it's going to be harder for him to initially go into that role unless he's on a team like Philadelphia or Houston or somewhere that doesn't already have that wide receiver 1, and be able to take over that role immediately. If he has to build his way up to that, I think it's going to be harder to do, especially if he's in an offense that, like you said, he kind of struggles to, translate and learn an NFL offense and all that stuff too. So I love the Reagor over Jefferson argument that you just made. And then you got your boy Darrington Evans at the 210, and we're sitting here now at the 310. Ready to take another pick here. And Scott Connor said, Jefferson, I bet, to contribute really early, landing spot dependent, but quicker value ascension if he hits.
So one of my thought processes is predicting landing spot is super hard, but if the Bengals go Joe Burrow round, when they go Joe Burrow with the #1 overall pick, man, what if they pair Jefferson back with him at the, at the top of the second? Now you've got the Burrow Jefferson connection again. I mean, people would be going crazy to try to get Justin Jefferson, but I mean, I could see him fitting in Houston. I could see him in Philly. Like, there's some really good landing spots for wide receivers in this draft class. Just fit. I say all the time that these wide receivers, there's so many different buckets. Like, you've got the big boy wide receivers in T. Higgins. You've got the route running technicians and the Jerry Judys and the Tyler Johnsons of the world. And then you've got just those just playmakers, right? Henry Ruggs, Jalen Reagor. I mean, it's a really good class of wide receivers, man. And I agree. I think Jefferson is locked and loaded contributor right away. I think he's a low WR2, high WR3 out the gate. Like that's really what I feel about him. He's that good.
Yeah, I agree. I love everything about him. So we're sitting here at the 310, Ray. Still quarterbacks are on the board. Antonio Gibson is still there if you wanted to grab him, which I'm assuming we probably will. Devin Duvernay, Cole Kmet, Alberto, P. Ryan, Troutman. Are we going Gibson again?
So my thing is, it's been so long since I played in one quarterback leagues. I really have forgotten how to value them in rookie drafts. I'm seeing Tua and Burrow go in the second round. I mean, is this a spot where we need to take a quarterback, in your opinion, Addison? I play in super flex leagues, so I really don't know how I should value the quarterback here.
I mean, I think this is pretty accurate in terms of how the quarterbacks would go in a one quarterback league. Like Burrow, it really depends on if you have that one guy in your league who's just like, yeah, Joe Burrow, because Baker kind of had that same thing too a couple years ago. Where he ranged anywhere from a high second, anywhere down to maybe a third if your league didn't really care too much about quarterbacks. Tua's right there, Herbert's right there. I mean, outside of Burrow and Tua, the only guy I really like is Jalen Hurts, but I don't know if you need to spend a third on him. That's where I'm at.
And that's where I was going to say. I was going to say because he provides that rushing upside, right? You're getting a running back / quarterback. So if I were going to take a quarterback here at the end of the third, it would be Jalen Hurts, but it would be really hard pressed for me to pass on Antonio Gibson. So I'll let you, and for all the reasons that I mentioned in the last episode, but I'm really liking the way that this draft has played out for me with Reagor and Evans. So if I were gonna take a risk on a quarterback, I guess it wouldn't be that bad. So I'll let you pull the trigger, Addison. If you want to switch it up and go quarterback, you can. But to me, it would be between Gibson and Hurts, honestly.
I'm just gonna go back to Gibson, and again, I think it's because, Hurts in the third round. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me because I don't think he's gonna have the draft capital to be a team starting quarterback. Not only just like out the gate like Burrow or Tua would be, but also like he might not even play year one. Yeah. Like depending on where he goes. Like he could be a day 3 guy, kind of like what we saw like from Dak Prescott. I know a lot of people like to comp Hurts to Dak in that sense. But if Hurts gets drafted by, any team that's not Carolina at this point, like I really don't see how he plays at all year one, barring an injury. So a third round pick on a quarterback who's not going to play in a one quarterback league really doesn't make sense. And I would much rather, take the shot on Antonio Gibson for his ceiling and his, just explosive playmaking ability than, Hurts. So yeah, I'm taking Gibson for you.
There we go. Probably the smart move.
I'm interested to see where Hurts went at the 403. Yeah, because you don't need to spend a third on him. I think any quarterback, I wouldn't even spend a third on Herbert. I'm not a Herbert guy. Yeah. That's just me personally. But I mean, outside of Burrow and Tua, none of these guys should go any higher than the 4th, in my opinion.
And look at what happened too. I mean, if you really were hell bent on taking a quarterback, everyone's saying Jordan Love's going to be a first round pick, and he's still sitting here at the 410 at the end of the draft. So
Mhm.
I think that was the wise decision to pass on Hurts right there.
Yeah. So we're at the 410 last pick of this 4-round rookie draft. And, again, this is the spot where tight ends start going. We talked about Jalen Hurts. All these other tight ends have gone, a couple of these running backs and wide receivers too. So we're looking at LaMichael Pirine, Jake Fromm, Van Jefferson, Thaddeus Moss, Harrison Bryant. What are we looking at here? This is kind of, again, I don't know any of these people outside of a couple.
Switch it to the give me the wide receivers. Let me just see all the wide receivers that are available. Fan, Gabe Davis, KJ Hill. Scroll down some. Joe Reed. I like Reed, but you can get him off waivers. Hit the running backs for me. Ew. Go to the tight ends. Sturdy. Into the draft. I mean, Harrison Bryant did win the Mackey Award as the nation's best tight end last year. Apparently, he looked all right at the Senior Bowl. Did okay at the combine. I'm not a Pirine fan whatsoever. Go hit the wide receivers for me one more time. Do I think any of these guys? Van Jefferson, I know people like his route running, but I'm just Gabe Davis is good, but I'd throw a dart at Harrison Bryant, the tight end. I would have rather Adam Troutman, who went one pick before, but I'll take Harrison Bryant here.
Nice.
Gross, but whatever.
He's not a where's Bryant in your tight end rankings?
I think I got him fourth, I believe. Fourth
All right.
or fifth. So he's still it's just his tight end class is just it's a little underwhelming for me overall. But I think Harrison Bryant is up there. I know he's up there with one of the top tight ends for me. So I like Adam Troutman better. I like Hunter Bryant a little bit better. Here we go. Ray. I got him three. I got Troutman and Albert O over him. Oh, that's Hunter Bryant. Christ, I have him at 7. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Yeah, I got him at 7, but whatever. It's the 410.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good value there for Harrison Bryant. And that's actually who Jesse picked last week at the 407 too.
Okay.
Just because, again, analytically, you look at Harrison Bryant's final season, had a fantastic season. And led the team in all receiving.
He did. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that's just because it was Florida Atlantic or if it was because he's that good.
Probably a combination of both.
Probably. But I like it. I think it's a dart throw. The 4th round is always going to be just a major shot in the dark. So whoever you can pick there with some draft capital or with some solid upside is going to be a fantastic pick any way you look at it. So the second mock draft that we did here out of the 10th spot, Jalen Reagor, Darrington Evans, Antonio Gibson, and then Harrison Bryant to close it out. So I think those are really two solid rookie mock drafts for you there, Ray, out of the 5 and out of the 10. Is there anything that, maybe look at either one of these two drafts in retrospect that you would want to do again or differently or, anything like that? Like here's the board for the first one.
I probably would have, I think going wide receiver, even though I love Akers and I love the running back value, I probably would have liked that draft a lot better if I'd have went CeeDee Lamb at 5. And then if I really wanted a running back and I believed in Evans the way that I do, taking him and or Keyshawn Vaughn in the 2nd, and then still being able to get Gibson in the 3rd. And then, that's kind of Swiss Army knife wide receiver and Lynn Bowden in the 4th. I think I would have liked that one a little bit better, taking CeeDee Lamb there at 5 and then getting my running back Evans or Vaughn in the 2nd and then still having Gibson with that upside in the 3rd.
All right. Yeah, I'm still surprised you didn't take CeeDee Lamb. That still got me going. And then this, of course, is the draft board for the 10 spot draft that we did there. Which I think those for your players, to pick at every single pick. Anyway, I
Yeah.
don't know if there's anything that you would have done differently there.
No, I love this draft. Even if I would have pivoted to Justin Jefferson there at 10, I still love how this played out. And although I feel like, even though I personally felt like, man, Evans is a little like a little rich at the end of the second, that's where his value is. I mean, I would want him over McFarland. I want him over Zach Moss and AJ Dillon, to be honest with you. He's that high for me.
Right.
So I'm just fine with taking Evans right there. I really like this draft a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. I like a lot about it that happened out, the way that it did as well too. Just because I think you got a lot of the players that where they should go and didn't really have to reach for anybody. So I really like the two drafts that you did, and I really appreciate you coming on here and doing a couple of these rookie drafts with me, talking some of this class, and just sharing a lot of your insight in terms of at these specific picks, who are the players that you're looking at and actually willing to pull the trigger on. So, Ray, thank you so much for coming on. And I'm going to give you the opportunity to kind of plug a little bit, let the people know where to find you, what you're working on, what you're doing, everything like that.
Yeah, man, just working on a lot of stuff right now, doing a Dynasty rookie draft and Devy startup draft series on my podcast, Destination Devy. Pumping out a lot of content on the YouTube channel, Destination Devy, as well as the DLF YouTube channel. And you know where to find me on Twitter, Podzilla, baby.
All righty. Hey, Ray, again, thank you for coming on. It was really fun to be able to do this with you. And to all the people watching on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, wherever it is that you're watching, we greatly appreciate you guys tuning in and checking out all these rookie mock drafts that we got going on. I'm going to try and do more of these as we go more into April up until the NFL draft, and then after the draft, because we'll actually know landing spots. So that'll be super important as well too. And then we'll get back into the actual dynasty startups now, with the rookies involved as well in those two. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. Please like, subscribe, follow, do all that stuff. It really helps us grow and to be able to share more content with you guys. So we'll catch you all later and next week with another episode of Drafting Lessons. See ya.